Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22. The areas that I've worked in, at least. I worked on a big estate with several thousand acres, and yes, I know, there are those of you in Canada, Australia, sniggering at the thought of several thousand acres being big. That's a little hobby farm for you guys, isn't it? I appreciate that. But where I'm from, that's a big estate. Yeah, it requires several people to work it. That's definitely not a one-man job. So the place that I worked, they had this big estate, about 3,000 acres, and we had another. I think it was about 4,500 acres altogether. So it was a fair old size compared for this area. And they had two tractors. The biggest ones was John Deere 7700. And a John Deere 7710, I think it was. Something like that. Those are about 170 horsepower-ish. I don't know exactly what the numbers are. But about 170 horsepower. And that was the big tractor. Those were the big beasts. And you didn't need anything bigger than that. And I see tractors now that are even bigger than those driving around, being used regularly on farms that are way smaller than several thousand acres. And I see some of the machines, you need that kind of power, but generally speaking, I do struggle to understand the justification for the expense of it. Right? That's something that, I was always kind of taught was... Oh, yeah, it doesn't actually lift up very high, that pickup reel there. See? Look at that. The justification for the expense of it. Like, it doesn't seem to make much sense to me. How is spending that extra thousands of pounds on the extra horsepower in these tractors justified for the expenses of running the farm? Like, it doesn't seem like you would be saving that value for money. I don't know. There's probably something I'm missing, because I've not actually been involved in agriculture personally for probably close to 20 years, or not on any industrial scale, let's say. I'm a little bit... I'm not very clued up on what's done and what's not done, and kind of like the ways that different methods and stuff are used. So yeah, it is a little bit strange to me at times, but I'm sure there are reasons, because farmers that I know don't generally go and spend tens of thousands of pounds extra on things when they don't really need them. Right? They still do want to make a living, and if you go and throw away £25,000 on something when you don't need to, you're not going to make a living, are you? So there will be reasons for it. I don't doubt that in the slightest. Now, something else that I want to know is if we go to the statistics page right there, bales produced, we have 102 bales. We only had 20 last time, and it took us a little while to stack those onto the trailer. Now we've got an extra 102. How are we going to move 102 bales in a reasonable amount of time? This is why I'm wanting an autoload trailer, because look at all these bales we got. We got loads of them. I'm going to chuck those down that way. We could probably put smaller heaps. That would help, I would have guessed. But still, this is all right. We can do it like this. We can do it like this. We'll chuck these. We'll just pick them up from the outside edge and just kind of throw them in like this. And then we can get a little bit closer and we can do that again. And that should take them all in towards the stack. Take that one right there, and yeah, I'll chuck it down that way, and then we just sort of keep doing this and work your way in. So we can pick them up. We can do this bit fairly quickly. It's getting the bales from this bit to stacked, because loading them onto a trailer, that's what's gonna take the time, right? If you have a bale there, that's fine. But then we kind of got to we got to put it on a trailer, and we've got just over 100 bales here that we've got to move, and this is something that I'm very aware is going to take quite a considerable amount of time. I can't use an autoload trailer yet because I don't have one available, although I will be keeping a close eye on it. a very, very close eye. If I could find an autoload trailer, maybe that we could bring down, just park next to these heaps of bales like this, and maybe we could do that. And we could just load them up onto the trailer. So maybe for now, we'll move them into heaps like this, and then we will leave them where they are. I'd like to sell the bales, though. That's the only other thing I'm kind of thinking about, is that I would actually like to sell these bales. I figure that we could make a bit of money out of this. Right, we're going to do a big bunching together of these. So I'm going to sling these from this top corner down. Like that. And we'll just kind of keep working on this. Run them down like that. And then there'll be another big heap over that way in a minute. So I reckon we'll do this entire field into 4 piles of bales. What happened there? Oh, I know what happened there. I went up to it and I right-clicked and it booted it away from me. I didn't even know you could do that. That's actually... okay, so we've learned a new trick. If you just right-click on something, it actually kicks it away from you. Might be a bit ambitious to try and put all of these into 4 stacks. Maybe we'll go 5. Alright, we've already started grouping these bales here up by quite a ways. So that lot there, I'll send that one over that way. And then these can come back up here a little bit. And we'll start chucking all of these in together like this. I keep pressing the wrong way, because I'm right-click once I'm holding it. I right-click, and that chucks it away from me. Like that, see? There. And I get that one. This is slowly working. Let's get you. Yeah, definitely want an auto-load for this. This is not something that I'm planning to do lots of, but I mean, we can, like, shove them along like that a little bit. That also works. There. And I think we will start making the actual heap right about there. Just start chucking a few of these here. I'm not even going to stack them up neat and tidy in the field. Well, I guess we could. We'll try and do that with one of the piles in the field. We'll see if we can stack them up neat and tidy. I don't want to spend too long on this, because you're going to get bored with me just chucking these bales around. I know I'm going to get bored with me chucking these bales around, so I dread to think what it's going to be like for you just sitting there watching me. I've done this quite a bit in real life, although not so much on the ground. I know some people do. I've seen it being done. I've seen other people in fields doing this. But I haven't done this very much on the ground, because most of the hay that I've been involved with making that's done in small bales, we've always had a bale collector on the back of the baler, so it leaves it in groups. Most of the work that I've done is with a flat 8 bale sled. So it leaves the bales in groups of 8 on the floor. And you're just left with them 8 in a group like this. I know most of you actually know what a flat 8 is, but not all of you do. So you have the bales left like that. Let's spin you over. There we go. Like that. And I thought I let that go. Oops, my bad. And if we take the bales here, we can just kind of use that one to shove that side up like that and make it neat. And then I can do that. And then you get the next one, and this is how it leaves the bales. It leaves them flat on the ground like this, flat in an 8 configuration. The clue is in the name. There. That one over there, and then we can get another one. And strange though this may seem, it doesn't drag them that way, or at least the ones that I've used, it drags them this way. So they're sliding sideways along the ground rather than the other way. There are different ones that you can get, though. So some of them do actually drag them long ways, but I've not seen very many that actually do that. So that goes there, and I'm not going to take one out of the stack. I'm going to go and get this one up here, and I'll use this one to just push them up. And one will go down there like that. Get this there. And push that up. So what it does is it will leave the bales like that in a flat 8. And it does actually leave them like that. And one of the jobs that I used to have was, or at least the old sled that we used to have, was I had to sit on the back corner of the sled. You generally needed someone sitting on the back corner of the sled, because it wouldn't always leave the bales wouldn't necessarily go through it properly, so it was always helpful to have someone riding around on it. And then that back bale would come out like that. Now you could go and pick them up, the flat 8 grab that you had on the loader of the tractor or on the load all, the telehandler. If you went into the bales correctly, you could pick it up anyway. But usually then I would just manually go and just nudge that bale in like that as well, and then go and carry on riding around on the sled. And so if there was a jam up on the sled, you could also go and cure it. You go and solve that problem. But you'd be left all over the field with those packs of 8 like that, and then you go along with a flat 8 grab and you go and pick them up. Some places would have bigger flats than a flat 8. I've seen flat 10s and I've seen flat 12s being left out that you can go and pick up. It does depend on the farm and what machinery and that they've got. But yeah, that's what they used to use, and I know they still do in some places. So there's different ways of doing it. You can get, some places will use a bale accumulator, much like they've got in the game here. There's different types of bale accumulators that you can get. Some of them will leave them in much bigger stacks than the one they've got in the game. The one in game actually puts string. Once you've got the 14 bales in together, it wraps a bigger lot of cord around them and ties them together, and so you've got a pack of bales. And then you can go and take that pack of bales and you can use it for some other stuff. Like you can move them around, and then you break the big pack apart, and then you can start feeding the small bales. So there is times when you actually want to do that. For example, people keeping horses, people keeping small holdings and things like that. Using small bales is just easier. So if you've got only a few animals, you're not necessarily going to want a great big bale. It's also very difficult to move great big bales around. So the lorry, if you buy, say, a half a lorry load of hay, they will turn up and they'll have the bales loaded on in the big packs. Not always, especially down in my part of the country. It would usually just, the lorry would just turn up with small bales loaded on. That'd be it. But it does happen. The bales would be then, you would unload them from the lorry. You undo the packs on the lorry, and then you go and stack away the individual small bales as you take them off the lorry. So you don't need a large machine to be able to unload the bales off of the lorry, but you can use a large machine to load them onto the lorry, so it means that the people who are selling the bales aren't doing the back-breaking labor of having to load up a whole load of these bales. It's quite a good way of doing it. So there's all kinds of different ways of picking up small bales. Usually, though, it does result in you having to do some of this work by hand. Now, I've got, this is the last few of them here. So we've got a few stacks of bales now in the field. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stacks now. I said we would do 5, but we've got 6. These 6 stacks of bales that we've got, we need to see exactly where we want to go and put our first greenhouse down. We may put 2 greenhouses in if we think that we can fit them in. So we're going to end up needing to move some of these bales out of the way. I'm not quite sure where we're going to put them and how we're going to move. We'll probably go and get the trailer that we've got the bales on already, and we'll move the stacks that need to be moved. We'll load them onto the trailer, and then we can move them. So that's everything piled up out of the way. It's looking good. I go running up this way. Like this. There, so I'm just off to the side. And we can have a look at our greenhouse. So we eventually decided that the greenhouses, this one is the best option for us. We can get away with not having to put. So we spin it round that way. Up there is like quite high. That's 11,950. But I can come in here. Down here. I'd like to put it there. 11,260 in there. It goes up. It's a little bit less. 140 it went there. There, 142. So 1,142 to do the terrain. We'll do that. We'll drop that one in there. That's where our greenhouse is going to be. So next, if I go into the landscaping and we'll zoom in a little bit, you can see that it's stepped up by quite a substantial amount right there. Now, I don't like that it's done that, but we haven't got any choice. Because if you look round the back, it's gone into the ground quite a bit up here. Now, we'll do something with that in a bit. But what I'm also going to do over here is I'd like to put in another greenhouse. So I'm either going to need to extend it out over this way and put the second greenhouse down there. And I want it to be on the same level. Or I push it back this way. This is going to dig down quite a bit. And also we've got the bales in a way. If I do it over this side, we don't need to do anything with the bales. This is going to cost us a bit of money. This, unfortunately, is going to be something that is going to be expensive. We've got no real choice in this. I want to bring this through, so I'm basically just leveling this all the way through here, like this. It's actually not costing us all that much money. I know there are some of you who said you don't want me doing too much landscaping in the hardcore series because you don't sort of feel that we should be... You know, you wouldn't necessarily be doing that. But if we're buying greenhouses, if we're building greenhouses, you would be preparing a site for them. So I don't feel that I'm doing anything that is particularly unrealistic for this. So we need to prepare a site for our greenhouses for a start, which is what I've done right there. That one, I'm not entirely happy with the angle of it now because of what we've done over here, but... we can live with that. So we'll just push this back over that way a little bit as well. Like that. So I've spent a couple thousand digging that out. So then we can go back into production and we'll go to greenhouse. And I'd like a second one of these. So this one here is the same angle as the other. We have got the place, and it's the extended placeable. Unfortunately, extended placeable does not give us the luxury of being able to alter the level of anything in regards to greenhouses and that. With the buildings, like we can't do anything in close to buildings still. It doesn't actually give us that function, which I'm quite disappointed with. Must be said. That is a singular disappointment for me. Okay, now we can go back into production, greenhouses, and that one right there. So that's about the same. I don't want to turn the greenhouse around. Unfortunately, there isn't like an invert or anything. So we've got to have the water down each end of the greenhouses so that we can keep the pallets there. But I think that's reasonably lined up. I'll drop that one in there like that. So next, we're going to go back to the landscaping. And now I'm going to have this function right here. And there's a couple things that I want to do. I want to clear some more of this one. So I just want to move this back a little bit. Like that. I know this is costing me money, but this is going to be worth it. This is definitely going to be worth it. There's actually a bit of a complaint about the game that I've heard so far, is that greenhouses do pay really well. To the point where it's kind of people feel that they have to have greenhouses in order to be able to start out. So for that reason, I was kind of torn about having greenhouses at all in this one. But ultimately I decided, well, why not? Because greenhouses is a part of agriculture. I mean, horticulture, I suppose you'd call it. But it is a part of it. And I don't feel that we should shy away from it just because, you know, maybe it's a bit more profitable than some of the other jobs. It doesn't really seem like a good reason for not doing it. It seems like a good reason for doing it, to be honest. Bring that back over there. Why is it not? Right. I want to smooth this out over here. So bring that up. I know I'm spending more money. But what I want to be able to do... I guess I don't need to go so much in behind the greenhouse there, although, I mean, technically we will. So let's bring this up here. This is the bit that I want to do. Bring that up. So that I've got room to be able to move in front of these greenhouses here. I'll be able to drive around in front of these. And this is the bit here. We've got this kind of big area right here. So I'm going to bring that up there. That's costing me a lot of money to do this. And that. Because of the angles we've used, it's not brilliant. And this is costing me more and more money, so we've got to be careful. And now we smooth. We'll smooth the edges off. It's going to be a lot better. Like that. And yes, I know it's still costing me a fortune. This is where it starts to become worth it. We smooth that down like that. Do the same out over this side. We've now got room to move in front of these greenhouses. We can go and do what we want to do here. I can smooth that down there. And I can also smooth things down at the back. So that we can then get through with our water tanker. That's going to be the other important bit. So I just want to smooth this off. I don't like the idea of having a steep bank around the back there. If we want to get more greenhouses, then we'll wait until we got a load more money and we can, like, dig out the next lot of foundation for it. I do feel that this is actually quite realistic, though. You wouldn't just go and throw a greenhouse down anywhere, especially an industrial-sized one like we're doing here. You wouldn't do that. That's just... It just simply wouldn't happen. You would carefully plan, and you would dig out the site, and everything would be leveled. And then you would build your greenhouse once you got your foundation all in and sorted. And, yeah, you'd sort of work from there. So that's what we're doing. We're preparing the proper foundation and making sure that everything here is suitable for our greenhouses. This is quite an important thing. We've got to make sure everything's right. So we've got that. And the only thing that I want to do now, really, is I want to make sure that we've got the right sort of... So we've got dirt. We could just go for packed dirt. I don't want that. I don't want concrete. We could go with gravel. Gravel is definitely an option. I'll stick that with a circle and make that a bit bigger. I'd definitely say that you'd want some gravel around there where you're handling all of the water. I don't think that would be out of the question. Like that. I think going between the two greenhouses here, having a gravel area here, that wouldn't be out of the question either. Like that. And so we can extend this out a little bit here. Just like that. It's just a patch of gravel that we've kind of chucked down here, really. And a little bit out on this side. I'm not going to go too much with the gravel out this way, but there's a little bit there as well. Then the rest of it, we don't want rock. We just want some dirt, really. We'd like this area here would be a dirt surface in here, where we'd be storing the pallets on. That would be fine. Either that or it would be concreted out. Unfortunately, I think the concrete costs a bit more money, so we don't really want to do that. So I'll just bring this as a dirt surface at the moment, and we can always put concrete down later. Do that in there. Bring this out down here. We don't have any more options. There is in the French map the option for like having a mixed texture of grass and dirt together. And I'd kind of like to have that for here. That would be a better texture to have, certainly on the bank there. That would definitely be something that we'd want to use. And I'm also going to put a bit of dirt on this side as well. That's going to go in under there. Again, this would be better. I don't want just the plain grass texture that we've got at the moment. And unfortunately, grass doesn't grow from this texture anymore. You've got to go and plant the grass yourself, and it costs a fortune to do that. So we're not going to do that, but we will do this, because this is a building site. We've only just built these. There's not going to be a lot of grass growing here at the moment. I'll tell you that for nothing. So we'll put that down there, and we'll stop. I've got 5,000 left, so I don't really want to go and spend any more of our money at the moment. We've got this 5 grand that's left. That bit there, though, there is a bit more that we want to do just there. Landscaping, the smooth function has come in here like this. It doesn't actually want me to smooth. Let's make that a bit bigger. Seriously? That bit right there, it's not actually letting me level that down at all. Because I want to be able to drive down here with the tractor. I want to be able to come down there. I mean, maybe we'll come down the other side. And then we can load up there. And then we run around this way as well. So we'll sort of come along here. And then we can pick up the pallets in here as well. So this is going to work out quite nicely. So we want to go inside. You can go in. And then we go here. So this is owned by Frithgardia. We will go into this one. So you've got tomatoes, which is 64 per cycle. You get 2 cycles per hour. So this will end up giving us 128. This one gives us 32, so that's 64 lettuce per hour. And the strawberries doubles up, that's 256. So we're going to do strawberries. Now, I don't know what the prices are. We've got strawberry and lettuce. There we go. There's the 3 of them. So lettuce, supermarket, 1,182 at the moment, 576, and 247. So in theory, that's half of what the tomatoes are, which is half of what the lettuce is. So in theory, if we did lettuce, we'd have fewer trips to go with, and we'd make a reasonable bit of money. If we look in here, August, this is down near the bottom. Tomatoes is about the same, and strawberries is... Wait a minute. Tomatoes has got a line up there. Huh. I don't know what that line is. Strawberries. Lettuce, the line's all the way up the top. So maybe lettuce are overpriced. I don't know. There's a lot of people have said that the price fluctuation list isn't particularly accurate. But I think what... Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.